This conference will now be recorded.
And I will invite everybody to the Darien Sewer Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, November 10th, 4:30 p.m., both in public and via video conference. This is the first time we're trying this and probably the last for a little while, given the elevated case rates. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First item, we've called the meeting to order at 4:34. And we're going to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Should just take a couple of minutes, and then we'll go on to the appeals.
Strike me out of my name.
He's doing it intentionally now, Reese.
It's in.
Well, yeah, you got it right at present, but down at the bottom of the page, Mr. Hutchinson made motion, not Mr. Hutchison. And there's a smattering of them throughout.
Yeah.
Yes, it is easy to find them. You could almost do it beforehand. Wow, we had a lot to talk about also. Any comments on the minutes?
One hit on page 505, right at the middle of the page, at the Brookside Pump Station during a heavy rains event. Should be.
I like the fact that you're reading that closely. That means the notes are well prepared. So can we have a motion, Mr. Hutchison?
Yeah, I'll move
a second from Peter. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Susan says yay, so that's 4-0. All right, so on to the fun part of the night. What's that, sir? 1, 2. The first appeal up is 8 Circle Road, Paula Byrne Posey and Daniel Michael Spinner. If you could simply tell us your name and address, even though I already did it. Okay, and the nature of your appeal,
ma'am. So my family and I moved to Darien at the very end of 2000. We moved with 2 children, ages 2 and 4, my husband Dan Spinner as well. And at that time, we started paying we moved from Hoboken. We had lived there for 2 years in a condo, and then prior to that, in the city for a million years. And so I was happily paying my sewer bills. Just, I didn't really know, all I knew was that Fairfield County, so expensive to live. And had no basis for comparison. I didn't know what my sewer assessment should be. And Darien don't really say, oh, hey,
yeah.
It's not like what's the run rate.
Well, only we talk about it at the cocktail parties.
The fun stuff is good. So I had no idea what was going on. And then in January of this year, I went to town hall to pay my real estate. And the person with whom I spoke happened to notice my sewer bills and said, wow, those are really high. So I went up to Public Works and I started asking a couple of questions and then did more research on it. And they're quite outsized, actually, my bills. My aquarium bill is around $100 on average, but it seems, if I understand correctly, it seems that aquarium was actually included 3 homes usage in my sewer assessment instead of just my home. That is my understanding.
Oh, wow. So the water bills that you were receiving are likely correct based on your water use.
As far as I know, they're reasonable. They're about $100 or $80 a month.
Yeah.
They sometimes fluctuate slightly. We do have a pool.
That's tad high.
Irrigation.
And so the suggestion is, Darren, that somehow in the transferring of the data by CompuServe, from Aquarian to us, more flow is being added.
Yes, what you said is correct. There's, at issue are 8, 14, and 7 Purple Road.
Yeah.
Apparently, her meter is reading for all 3 properties. 14 is being billed properly. Number 7 is being billed for all 3 properties. And the third one is on septic, so they're not getting a bill at all.
You mean 8 is being,
Excuse me?
you say 8 is being billed?
You're 8, and 8 is being billed
Okay,
for
got it.
all of them.
Okay.
Right.
And,
And 7's getting nothing.
what are the numbers? 14, 8,
And 7?
I am with it. 7. So the number 7 for 4 is not 7. They're not getting a bill, should be getting a bill. However, the water that they use was being billed to number 8. Number 14 Circle Road is on the sewer correctly. Yet, water usage for number 14 was also included.
All right.
For number 8.
So there's a nice spreadsheet here that tries to tease out.
I do, Penny is wonderful, she shared that. with me,
Yeah,
And I do have a copy of it.
yeah, we've got it as well. That tries to isolate your water usage at 8.
My eyes really popped out.
So yeah, you've just been paying 3 bills. Is there a problem with that?
And I never would have known.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm requesting respectfully that the sewer commission consider going back 5 years from the moment we started living there because of flat out incorrect data.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody on the sewer commission have any further questions for Paula Posey? Okay. So there's a lot of math to do. I don't feel like doing it all right now. Did you do the math? You did the math. Who did the
Well,
math?
We did the math to what we thought it would be.
Okay.
We got the bills dated from Aquarian and subtracted 14 and 7 from number 8's bill.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to read them off?
Yes.
2020, $897. This is their current bill. It is correct.
Okay.
2019, they were billed 4202. We think it should be 80520.
Okay. These are on pages 3 of 10 and 4 of 10 of our packets. We're comparing 3 of 10, which is what the bill was, to 4 of 10, which is what your calculation of what the bill should be.
Yes,
Okay.
I put them all together on one page.
They look gorgeous. Okay.
If you compare those 2 spreadsheets.
Have you seen these calculations prepared by Darren or Penny?
I have Penny shared with me
Yeah.
on November 4th, just year.
Okay.
And I did the subtracting of what I had paid versus what I shouldn't have paid.
Yeah.
And it's really an eye-popping number.
It is.
12,000.
Could be. But I guess my question for you is this page 4 of 10, which has what your bill should be.
Mhm.
Do you generally concur with those numbers? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any further questions or comments from the commission?
Well, it's on the 2015 was correct. The 14 was 5. If it's 677.88 on the spreadsheet.
No, I've got, so first page, I had $2,851 billed and paid in 2015,
Oh, okay.
and we're saying it should be 677.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I get a motion?
We amended based on these figures and out of credit, write a check. With apology.
Can I get a second on the motion?
How much is the check?
Do we have a number there? Want to put that in the
Not the
motion?
number of the difference.
Around.
I mean, it's going to be $2, $4, $6, $8, $10, $12,000. It is. Yeah.
Do we want to just do get a final number from you?
They're right here.
Yeah. No, I know.
So we're going to change each year to this amount, and whatever we owe, we'll pay.
So the motion should include somewhere between near $12,000 credit.
Yeah.
Based on
Yeah,
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Yes, sir? 5 years,
5 years.
yes. This was, so the reason he said that, or anyone else in the room, is we, will probably, for the folks that got away with not paying the minimum charge, we won't go back 5 years, we typically go back 3. For folks that don't address a leak in their house that's adding to the flow that goes down the sewer, we do try to find an equitable share between their responsibility as a homeowner versus our responsibility as the sewer commission. But this was a math problem for which I have no responsibility other than being a good citizen paying your bill. So we have a first and a second, and we have no further discussion.
We're talking about 15 to 19.
Yes, 5 years.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because I only paid $867. It happened after I started asking questions. I saw the $897 bill, and I did pay that.
First and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. Just raise your hand. Susan is raising her hand. That's 4-0. Your appeal has been granted. Thank you very much. Have a good night. And, a Merry Christmas with your own money.
Nicely done by the staff.
Yeah, it was very helpful to have all those numbers ready for us. So, all right, next appeal on deck is 16 Fox Hill Lane, Samuel Schoonmaker. Mr. Schoonmaker, do we have, oh, there, we got Sam online here.
I'm online.
There we go.
Thank you for taking the, putting this in the agenda and accommodating this with a Zoom type meeting. I don't have much to add to my papers. We essentially had a $950 sewer charge, sewer service charge in 2018, $1,000 in 2019, and $3,400 for this coming year. And the reason for the increased number, we think, is water consumption between November and March, the relevant time period. During that time, we had 2 toilets that were running. We had a handyman come in December. We had a handyman come, same handyman come in January. He couldn't fix it. And it was just 2 flappers that needed to be changed. Then COVID came. We didn't want anyone to come in the house. So we didn't have a plumber come. When things let up a little bit, we contacted a plumber, and he came and he fixed the 2 flappers. And so we no longer have a leaking toilet in either of the toilets. So we're asking for a reduction of the sewer service charge to what it would have been, which would have been $1,054, assuming the same rate of increase between 2019 and 2020 that there was between 2018 and 2019. So that's how I came to that number of $1,054.36. And otherwise, I have nothing else to add to the papers.
So we see the receipt from your plumber for having replaced the 2 flappers. That is very helpful. That was August 4th, 2020. And since that time, I'm looking at a water bill. It looks like your statement date of October 20th, 2020 certainly shows a significant reduction from July to August to September to October. However, those numbers are still very elevated. I don't think you've found the problem yet.
It may have been we're using the, we don't hear any other water running, so I don't know what other problem it could possibly be. The sprinklers are off. They were shut off in October.
Water meter in your water meter in your house, or is
What's that?
it under the property near the curb? Do you know?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear this.
The water meter, the Aquarian water meter.
I don't know where the
sorry,
aquarium meter is. I see the aquarium drive up and down sometimes, but I don't know. I know that we had a leaking toilet. And
so look, so what I'm saying is this problem is not behind you. It's going to happen again. Usually what we look for is that, okay, there's a leak found, whatever that leak may be, whether it's the runny toilet or a drippy faucet or a broken pipe out in the yard on your side of the water meter. Then we fixed it, then flow goes back down and we have confirmation that the leak has been fixed and it's no longer a problem. But what I'm suggesting is that if you look at the September and October flows on your water bill, they're still very elevated, right? You should be down as you were in 18 and 19 and 17. You're in the teens for water usage, usually. Now, do you have an irrigation system that's been running?
No. Well, we have an irrigation system that's been off since,
Yeah.
Since October.
So, right now we're looking still in the 40s in terms of water use, which doesn't quite look right to us. So,
That's not the relevant time period, though. The relevant time period is between November and March.
yeah, but we have to do it. We have to. Well, I'm not trying to fight with you, right? Like normally, like we'd be giving you this appeal, right? So I'm not trying to argue like where we're at, but I'm saying we might not have all the information we need in order to make the vote on this appeal at this moment. Because usually we like to see a return to that normal value so that we know the problem is solved and that we use that return number to kind of guide what our appeal is going to be down to, right? So, like I said, you're still going to get some hefty bills from Marion too. So I feel like maybe it was irrigation, maybe this is just registering the fact that the irrigation system wasn't quite off yet for a lot of these bills. And so your November bill, for instance, will be back down in the teens where we would expect it. And if that happens, I would say share that information with us at the next meeting, and that will be what we need to say the problem has been solved.
All right, yes, sir.
But what I'm worried about is that the problem's not necessarily solved. So you don't want to rest, and we don't want to rest until we know it's.
That's fine. So do we just defer it to the next meeting?
Yeah, let's defer it to the next meeting with a request that we see the next month's water bill and as confirmation that your water use is back to normal.
All right, so it really should be a period of time after the irrigation was turned off. So I have to figure out what date that was, and then I don't know if it's say end of October, if it's November through November, or if it's a mid-month bill. I don't know what exactly we get, but we should look at a period where the water is turned off.
Yes, sir.
So I'll try to figure that out.
And right now, his appeal is pending. So what are the rules in terms of paying the bill versus his appeal pending? So if his appeal is granted, there's not going to be any interest charges.
Depends on how long back with this commission,
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
After that, we expect.
Yeah. Okay. So for right now, he doesn't have to worry about interest payments with an appeal pending.
Still on the list being pending appeal, and there is no.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions on this application, on this appeal rather? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll table your appeal to the next meeting.
All right, so then I should just submit supplemental materials to Penny, and then
Yes.
it'll be scheduled. Great. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Have a good day. Bye. All right, next up on the agenda is 874 Boston Post Road, William Shaffer. Thank you very much. Come forward. Your name and.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. All right, the nature of your appeal, Barbara.
As myself, I had mentioned, so I called and was, and I don't understand quite what happened here. And here, this is what went wrong. And I thought maybe it was extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
I dawned on me in September, we discovered a leak. I said, didn't cover it until it went to the ceiling and on.
Mm. Yeah.
So. Have the fact that we had a neighbor we
Mhm.
didn't know about, we get it right away.
And that repair was made in early September?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the, so why, yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at an October 2020 bill. It's the same issue as the last caller or the last appellant. The water bill hasn't gone back down yet. You know, we have an October 2020 water bill. It's still, yeah. So it's
based on.
Why?
Yeah.
yeah. Here, I'll show it to you. If you look at if you look at the October uses, it's still up, you know, well over 100, which is kind of that problem area for you. Not really. So your last,
You have irrigation.
yeah, that could be a part of it, that the irrigation is still going because it's an October bill, not a November bill, which is usually when we start looking at the.
Like, look at last 19. Oh, okay, that's high.
Yeah.
That's an off-season irrigation.
Yeah. No, there's definitely something here, and again, this is no. So normally you've discovered a leak, you've repaired a leak, you've showed us the proof that you've repaired the leak, but what we're not again seeing clearly yet is a reduction in the water use to be able to confirm that the repair was effective and we're back to kind of that for normal rate. So I guess I'm going to ask you for the same thing I asked for the last appellant, which is come in with your November bill so we can confirm the leak is repaired. And, yeah, and if you have irrigation, turn the irrigation off.
Did you have any tenants that were like that weren't there when COVID really started? But were they not there as often? COVID was, because it dipped in your bill. It's probably February.
And the hairdresser and nail salon were closed in March, but down in March.
Yes.
And they're now open here. I guess they opened.
Yeah, leak started in February sometime. It looks maybe.
Do you think so?
I don't know because June.
It's the two low months would be February and March retro.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, March got real low.
Which would be when COVID was really starting. People had their closed. Maybe the florist.
So we do have 4 apartments.
Yeah, so interest. Yeah, I see what Reese is saying here. If you look at November through March, you know, November is above 100, December is 138, January is 131, and it starts going down. February is 101, lower, and then March is 65, April 62.
It builds back up.
So it doesn't, you know, then it builds back up. So it's weird. It's not like it was a consistent leak that was happening.
Oh, the leak, you know, we don't know how long it happened.
Yeah.
It's an old building and it's nice road.
But if it was leaking, it would be continuing to leak. And some of these numbers go back down. So I don't know. There's a chance it's just the use of the water. Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. So look, I think it's best for all of us if we have a little more information. Yeah. The next water bill, and hopefully that goes down to a level that starts making sense, and we can consider an appeal. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
My other question is, when I said, what do I do about paying bills?
Yeah.
And she told me to pay $254.50.
Okay.
I'm going to be.
Reasonable advice.
That's good.
Yep.
So I just let her know when I get them.
Sounds good to me. All right, thank you for your time. All right, so 3C is tabled. Next, so this is Mr. Maturo. We'll get him off of mute. He's off of mute. This is Appeal D, 40 Baywater Drive, Frank and Carrie Arturo. Yes, sir. The nature of your appeal.
Could you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you great.
Okay, thank you. I am just appealing a month here. I was not aware that we had gone from the 2 lowest quarters to the 5-month multiplied by 2.4. And so I think what happened in my particular case is if you look at the 5 months, November's 23, December's 12, January's 10, February's 11, March is 11. So really, I guess all I'm asking is we have a irrigation system. There was a leak in it, which doesn't affect well, it does affect it, but we didn't find out about it till the spring. But I guess I'm asking for that November. We didn't turn the irrigation system off until into November, and we should have done it at the end of October. So it's on me that I wasn't aware of the 5 months change, and it's on me that we did not turn it off until we got into November. But I'm respectfully asking the November number to just be adjusted down this one time to a more normal, where kind of December, March were generally, and then whatever that saves me, it saves me. So
Yeah.
that's really all I'm asking.
Understood. So it does seem clear from the data presented that November is related to irrigation in the late season. Usually when we grant an irrigation appeal, we do so as a one-time only. And so now you are aware that probably early October you should turn the irrigation system off, only because you don't know exactly when Aquarian's running their meter month to month.
Right.
Your other option would be to install a sub-meter, your own sub-meter on the irrigation system. And then we could read that for you and subtract it off of your bill, depending. That's correct. We would do that in certain situations, Darren. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So those are your 2 options. Do I have any questions from the commissioners for the appellant?
I was just curious, May's bill. You plant a lawn in April and May of this year in 2019?
Oh yeah, we'll use a lot of water in May. Relative to the other.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the question.
Sure, I'll repeat it for you. Commissioner Hutchison asked, unusual amount of water used in the month of May, and
That was the leak. That was the leak.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a leak. Okay,
Wow.
you were lucky it happened outside of our.
And unfortunately, Aquarian did not adjust. I mean, they gave me an adjustment, but it was nowhere near, unfortunately, what the leak did. But you're absolutely right. It's a good catch on your part. But that was the leak, which actually I think could have been there, for a while, unfortunately. So that's again on us.
Okay.
That was the leak, which I got an adjustment for, but I don't think the adjustment covered as much as the leak damage it did.
Understood. Any further questions for the homeowner? No. Can I get a motion?
Just the charges accordingly.
And maybe down to 11 for that month. That seems to be the average.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take 1,200 cubic feet off the calculation. I might as well do the calculation.
Yeah. And with this grader right now.
I'm running on fumes times 55. Oh, I've got to annualize it. I forgot to annualize it. Minus 12 divided by 5 times 12 times 655. 864.60. All right. We have a winner. All right. Reese makes a motion to grant the appeal down to $864.60. Do I have a second? Peter's raising his hand as the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise your hand. That's 4-0. Appeal is granted. Thank you for your time, sir.
Okay, thank you. Much appreciated.
All right, next up is Appeal 3E, 84 Christie Hill Road, Jeffrey and Valerie Cohen. We have.
Hi, guys. Thank you. On October 2nd.
No, you're Jeffrey. You're Jeffrey?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So on October 2nd, Aquarion sent out a service technician, and they identified the service line leak after our meter, probably well before our property. So you guys are probably aware of this, but there's some wacky water meter situations on a different street. It's 800 feet from our residence. And it's at another two water drain. Three water drain lanes, number 7 water drain lane, through the wetlands, 86 Christie Hill Road, and then my house, 900 feet. We've hired an electromechanical engineer, we've hired a sewer company. These guys are invited me, and they still have not identified the source of the leak. It's not on my property, it's probably under the wetlands. So that's going to be an interesting project. So we're aggressively trying to find it. We may have to just replace the service line. That's the scenario. I've gone back and analyzed the CCF usage. November to March, probably for based on use September of last year. November to March usage this year was 300, approximately 60 during the measurement period. Past 2 years, we're around 9 CTF. So the result on $790, exactly right around there, 791, 793 the last 2 years, $4,800. So yeah, the water's going into back to the environment, somewhere beneath the area between Waterbury and Christie Hill. We haven't done it yet. It's a high priority for me, obviously. Water bills are astronomical. And but in terms of sewer usage, we're not using any more. Kids have gone off to college, so if anything, our usage is down. I'll leave it to you guys. 2020 was 303 CCFs during that period. 19 was 54 CCFs. 2018.
All right, well, yeah, okay. So it's going to take you a while to find the leak and rectify the leak. The leak is in a place that it's not going down our sewers, so it's not adding to the cost of our sewer bill to Stanford. I would be inclined to entertain the appeal based on an average of the last 2 years worth of water usage. Yeah. Is that a motion? Okay, so Mr. Hutchinson makes a motion to grant the appeal based on 5,600 cubic feet of water use between the 5 months, November and March, which once annualized and multiplied by our rate would be a new bill of $880.32. And we buy another year to solve the problem.
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, sir.
I'll make that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we haven't finished. That was a motion. Do I have a second? Any further discussion on the motion or questions for the appellant? Hearing none. All those in favor? Susan is raising her hand. That's 4-0.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, good night. All right, next appeal on the docket is 6 Gideon Lane, Josephine Lombardo, who is on the phone. So we're gonna unmute Miss Lombardo. Miss Lombardo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we are up to your matter.
Okay.
So please describe the nature of your appeal.
Well, the sewer usage bill was $800, which I thought was unbelievable. And I've never had a bill that high. I think last year it was $268. And I think I mentioned in my letter that there was a leak while I was in the hospital. And so I unknowingly had a toilet which required a flapper, which I repaired as soon as I became aware of the problem. So because, I mean, it was a problem I didn't know about, I hope that you will be able to adjust the bill for $800. It's usually, like last year, I think it was $268. So that's a more normal amount. So I'm hoping you can do something to adjust the bill.
I'm glad, ma'am, you're out of the hospital now. Do you, how many people live in your household?
Me, one.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty close to the minimum amount, actually, in years past.
Right.
I'm thinking, I'll make a list. That's it.
What is our minimum now?
254. Minimum?
You want to just see the next water bill?
He wasn't ready to call.
Yeah, no, I understand where you both are saying.
I like the methodology. That's the only reason I deviated was wasn't there for once.
Okay. So our superintendent is reminding us that that would be helpful to have your next water bill that confirms for us that your repair was effective and your usage rate is back down low again. So
Okay, the last water bill, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
the
go
last
ahead.
water bill I was $44 and I have paid that. That was a recent bill.
So maybe you can tell me, oh, actually this,
Yeah.
oh, wait, hold on.
December, January was
The amount of the, okay, I'm sorry. Give me a second to catch up. When was the fix? When was this that's September 2020, that's the bill.
Right.
September.
Because it went back down in February and March. So if we take out the 19 and the 20, right? We have the 345, the average is 4 times 12 times 655 is 314.40. And that is the average of the water use since the problem occurred.
All right, I'll amend my motion.
Okay.
All right, I'll amend the motion to adjust the rate for 314.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to grant the appeal to $314. The motion has been seconded by Van Winkle. Any further discussion on this appeal? Questions?
Will I get a bill for this amount?
Yeah, we'll
So
send you
that-
a new bill. We'll send you a new bill.
But the last bill was the one that said it was also a overdue charge because I wasn't paying it, but I was waiting to get it resolved. That was $12.
Yeah, don't worry about the overdue charge. That'll be taken care of because you had an appeal pending. So you'll get a new bill, and then you just got to pay that within the 30 days when you get it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. So all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. The appeal is granted to 314.40. Thank you, Ed.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Have a nice evening. All right, next up on deck, appeal 3G7 Carrie Lane, Barbara Fletcher.
I'm standing in for.
Okay, and your name, sir? Jim James. Mr. Fletcher, all right. The nature of your appeal, Mr. Fletcher.
What triggered this is I'm a member, got a bill for 12 hours. Our
Look at
normal
that.
average bill is probably right around $40.
Mhm.
And I called on December 6th, and I inspected the check the plate. They dug up the meter, did it in the house, checked everything. Then went outside, and on the far side of the house, there is a outdoor flush, and it was leaking still. All we required was that probably should have been just shut off. That's what I'm trying to turn, but the landscaper, the people, they had put in, move on in that area, or heated area, and I never knew anything about it. And we went by, and then they said, okay, we'll review it when we, they would prepare the next bill, and then they sent it.
now or whatever. And, call them up and they read and, the inspectors saw the read. And, write a copy of this letter dated, January 7th to the town.
Mhm.
Basically not told by the household, they only told us, and we got the $1,400 bill. That really wasn't anticipated.
Do you have an irrigation system, sir?
A year.
Do you have an irrigation system, sir?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an irrigation system?
You know, I have a-
Irrigation. You have a sprinkler system?
No.
Okay. So thank you very much for that information. We have the information in front of us post leak fix. So I'm going to average the next 6 months of usage, which is 22 times 2 to get to 12 months times 655 to get to our rate. That calculation for me is $288.20. We have a format here. Reese, you're up.
Well, I threw 2 5s in, just based on the last 2 years, 19.
Oh, okay.
And got 19 as a total, but I'll go with you.
Okay.
Close enough. So you want a motion, 282?
Motion on the floor of $288.20. Grant the appeal to. I have a second on the motion. Peter seconds on the motion. Any further discussion? All right, can I get a vote on the motion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye, that's 4-0. Your appeal has been granted. Your new bill is $288.20.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on. Wait. You can write it down for him.
That's,
I'll send you a new bill.
I'm going to pay that.
When you get it, you'll get it in the mail.
All right, well, thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
Have a good night. All right, next appeal is 3H 169 Long Neck Point Road, Rose Marie Reardon. She's on the phone. Let me unmute her. All right, Rose Marie, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. So let's see, you are 3H, the nature of your appeal.
Well, it had been settled through Penny's help in your office, and I'm to request that when my meter is read that it be the Aquarian rather than the ancillary one that I had put in years ago.
So previously we were told that there was a reduced rate. We were to have separate water meter installed. The separate meter was installed. Now as I understand, the separate meter is no longer necessary. We don't need it. Okay, so our reading of that meter is throwing everything off. And so
Yeah.
if we don't read that meter and use November through March, everything looks hunky-dory, and your bill should actually be 30130. All right.
Yes, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A second. All right. Any further discussion on the motion to grant the appeal to 30130? All those in favor? All right. Your appeal has been granted, Ms. Reardon. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, you all as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. Next up on the docket, Appeal 3I, 2389 Boston Post Road for Jane Kosonen. Oh, you are here. Excellent. The nature of your appeal. Your name, sir? Your name, sir? Your name, sir?
My name?
Yeah.
First name?
It might be Maddie.
Maddie. Got it. Got it. The nature of your appeal, sir.
The nature of the appeal.
Recently, when I put the water, you know, the price was 3.5 times more than the previous year. And when I added the water consumption for the meter was still less than the previous. And I sent a letter in, and we had a out of the town when it happened, put a damage in the house, and the house is on the repair site now, the house. Yeah, Florida. And
Did the air bleed on your air handler fail? It's supposed to let the air out of the lines? Did that fail and leak?
everything was normal in the house.
Did it leak?
Somebody had a key following week, I think they went there to check the house. And they talked to them.
Yeah.
Reported with the insurance company, and that's what we are doing right now.
Ceilings were down, walls were
A
down.
lot of water. I think water has to get in.
The air handler failed, right? The water feed to it?
And that's why I was surprised when I had it. I keep the track how much I expenses. And my water bill from water company, it was less this year than previous year, that's just 3.5. That's why I wrote that.
Thank you, sir. I understand. So you're not living in the house? Is this a rental?
We're not living, we are renting
Yeah.
houses on the repairs with the terminal city.
Okay. So-
Hopefully next month we get back to the house.
Okay, that makes sense. So my thought would be to use the average of the last 2 years again to assess the rate for this year. Does that make sense?
I'll go with that. Yeah.
All right, that's 2,200 cubic feet divided by 5, 12 times 655. I get $345.84. All right, Mr. Hutchison makes the motion to grant the appeal to $345.84. Mr. Van Winkle seconds that motion. Any further discussion? $345.84 is the appeal that we're discussing. Yep.
Yeah, it'll go down.
All those in favor? All right, the appeal has been granted. You will receive a new bill and you can pay the new bill. Have a good night.
Good luck with your house.
Yeah, what a drag. All right, next up on the docket is 3J, 3 Richmond Drive, Ravi and Rupa Krishnan. Are they here? Krishnan? 3 Richmond Drive. Russo. We have 2 people online. Which is the next one? Do you know who Stephen Russo is here for? Is that Boston Post?
Yeah, I'm here if you had any questions about the Fletcher, the revision of the easement, town easement.
Oh, okay, so we'll get the in a minute.
Further down.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so let's just look at this, see if it's an easy one that we can dispense with or not. Seem really high. Irrigation wasn't turned off, provided irrigation bill was turned off on November 14th. 8 months perhaps on the charges. That appear. Oh yeah, it does. So we want to take November off and average the others. Well, 3/8. So you want to just do the 8s, not 15? I would tend to do the 15.
I would do the 15.
So 8 plus 8 plus 15 divided by 4 times 12 times 65. That would be 765, which is in line with what the bill was a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And this, I think, if we make the motion, this is an irrigation appeal, one-time appeal. And they have 2 options. Be careful about turning their irrigation water off in October or having it sub. So I think that should all be reflected in the appeal. Is that your motion?
766.35.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right. Appeal granted.
766.35.
That's what I got. Yes, sure. All right, now we are up to, where's my cheat sheet? Here it is. 3K, 26 Prospect Avenue, Thomas and Gretchen Witchy. She is unmuted. You can hear me, Ms. Witchy?
Yes.
And we're on to the nature of your appeal.
Well, similar to the last one, we're not in the loop on this change from October to into November, and I provided a copy that we did not have the irrigation turned off that time period until November 15th. And so I'm just looking to have it normalized.
Okay. So as described in the last appeal, these irrigation appeals are kind of one-offs. So either you have the opportunity next year to make sure your system is off, or you can have your irrigation flow submetered for us to read. I'm coming up with 12 times 655. I came up with 648.45, which is consistent with last year. All right.
I'll make a motion to grant the appeal to 645.
Mr. Van Winkle, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Appeal is granted. Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Did you hear the amount? It was
648.45, but you'll be sending a bill, right?
That's correct.
I paid the minimum already.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, last appeal for the night, 3L, 1078 Boston Post. Which one? Oh, there's two.
Yeah.
1078 Boston Post Road and 1082 Boston Post Road. Is anybody here on 1078 Boston Post Road and 1082 Boston Post Road? All right, these are two disconnected.
Dispense with that, then.
Okay, so do they pay the minimum in that regard?
I think, well, that's a good question.
Because you're,
But they're gonna be reconnecting. That's, I don't know.
well, no, I feel like this is consistent with how we've determined these in the past. Well, is it?
It is uncharted, right? It's a whole.
Well, that's a connection fee, but we don't know if that's going to be in place or not by the time
Correct.
these guys are looking to reconnect. And I do take Bob's point that even if you're not, if
Have the right.
someone's in Florida from November to December, they're going to get the minimum charge, even though they use no water, right? This is not dissimilar to that. These two properties have the benefit of being able to connect with the sewer when they want.
All right, well then I think we just the way you know before, so I would suggest that we start
And that would,
with all other policies.
yeah.
Okay. I agree with Bob on that.
Okay.
So, Craig, I'll make a motion that we assess the minimum charge for both properties based on the fact that as a policy, we charge the minimum ability to reconnect to an individual property.
Even though they may not be using water.
Yep.
So there is a motion on the floor to grant the appeal to the minimum charge for each property. The minimum charge is, fill that in for me. $254.53. Do I have a second on the motion? We have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, appeal is granted. We're done with the appeals. No, we're not done with the appeals.
You guys have a go ahead, bro.
Request for waiver of interest or lowering of limit in section blah, 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 blah. Just Mr. Russo, who's up for another matter, and Ms. Cameron. Oh, yes. Hello. Oh, go out of order a little bit. Yeah, I guess I could. Which matter are you here for, ma'am? Yeah, why don't we let you go home if we can? So Chairman's prerogative, we're going to take the agenda out of order, and instead of hearing item number 4 at this time, we're going to hear number 8 at this time, 7 Kona Road Barn. discussion and action. Fast forwarding in my packet. Approval of a sewer connection. Yes, you can do it. That'd be great.
This is a property that is in a 1 acre zone. There is over 2 acres, so it is subdividable. There are 2 separate buildings and they're asking to connect the barn directly to the sewer. So I believe it can be done in a way so that if the property is subdivided, it won't be necessary for one property to grant an easement to another property. Usually the commission is more concerned about a couple of buildings connecting one lateral connection.
And then having to undo it later. Yeah.
Or
whatever. Yeah.
grant an easement.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, we like to stay on top of these things to make sure that they're done in a logical manner that doesn't make things harder in the future. Do you think this is a straightforward one from the map here? It looks like a straightforward one to me.
Does it have a separate water service?
Is there a separate water service to the barn, ma'am?
No.
And just for the record, your name is? Allison Rowan. R-O-U-E-N.
I'm only thinking if it is subdivided later, then you've got a common water line.
And they got to separate that. Not my business.
Well, for charging in separate bills, separate.
Yeah.
Like sort of all the properties in town.
Hopefully it doesn't. They're pretty well.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen, but they have policies against that now. Yeah, we find them. All right, so do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve separate.
Peter seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, allowing the separate connection for the barn? Yes, that's a 4-0. We're all set. Okay, yeah, you know, Ed's really, can you just chair the meetings from now on? Because you're on top of it. Which item is that? All right, Mr. Russo, we're going to take you now. Item number 6, Fletcher Development, Locust Hill Road, sewer easement discussion and action.
Okay, my name is Steve Russo. I'm an attorney with Fogarty Cohen, Russo and Nemiroff in Greenwich, and I represent Fletcher Development. Just by way of a little background, this property, this involves property on Locust Hill Road. It was originally subdivided by Walker in 1998 and then purchased by Westmere, and it's got a long history. But in any event, my client bought 4 lots about a year ago. And in 1998, there was originally a sewer easement to the town that was for the purpose of locating a main from Locust Hill Road down over to Andrews Drive. And it also included some easement areas for laterals, in particular one that goes over lot number 7 that's on a map. I think that's submitted as part of the materials to you. So an easement area was put in over lot 7 to service lot number 1. And then in 2014, for some reason, really unbeknownst to us, but the easement was amended for lot number 7 to move the easement area to the northerly property boundary. About a 30-foot easement for a sewer lateral was put on the property. And the other easement area was never really abandoned. So my client comes along, buys the property, gets a building permit or foundation permit to start work on lot number 7. And lo and behold, he starts work and he discovers the actual location of the lateral, which
is always that way
in neither one of the easement areas. So he was asked by the town to dig up the line, you know, every 25 feet or so that we could establish where the actual location of the line was, which was done. That resulted in the shaded area on the new map that you see before you. So what we're trying to accomplish really is to get rid of the other 2 easements that burden this property and establish the easement area that really, where the lateral really is for the benefit of lot number 1. And so that's what the document is trying to accomplish, is to have both the town and the owner of lot number 1 release any interest they have in those 2 lateral easement areas over lot 7. And give just the owner of lot number 1, because the town doesn't really have any interest in an easement for a lateral line, over the area that's stated on that map. So that's what we're.
There's a
trying
fine map entitled Easement Map depicting sanitary sewer line easement lot 7. It's revised all the way through October 28, 2020. This is still the operative map that you're considering?
Yes, it is.
And then do we have a document that goes along with this, or is it just the map?
Now, there should be a document. There was an amendment,
there it
amended
is.
and restated easement that I submitted to Darren.
Has Mr. Fox or his associates looked at this yet?
No.
No.
All right. So we always do this, so don't take it personally. But just to make sure the language is proper, we're going to have the town attorney look at it before it gets filed.
Absolutely.
And so we have a motion to have our town attorney look at the, what's that? Yes, we got a motion from Peter.
I'll second that.
Susan, do you want to second this one? You look lonely. Oh, she's seconding it. Okay. Yes, so Susan was the second to send this to the town attorney. All those in favor? All right, everything looks in order to me. I appreciate the effort that the new owner is going to clean this up for the permanent record. I'm sure this will be a pro forma review and we'll be able to dispense with it next. We'll see you then.
Great. Thanks very much.
All
right, appreciate it. Have a good night.
Bye. I mean, gosh, it's like, this is why these guys are always fighting with people on the phone when things are happening to get them to do it the right way, right? Just do it the right way the first time, right? Yep. I guess the surveyors make more when you do it twice.
Our easement actually contemplated there's language in the easement that says if it's found not to be in the easement, they have to fix it. So.
Wow, that's good language. Well, duh.
Dig it up every 25 feet and have your surveyor locate it because it's smart.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's perfect. It's great.
And they did. Their credit.
So
Every time they get a rock.
it's interesting. The irrigation appeals were basically based on last November, people still irrigating late into October, early November. This year, Aquarian told everybody to shut their water off at the end of September. There should be no appeals next year.
Every day when I drive to work.
Yeah. All right. You know what? You can go off mute now, Susan, if you want, because I think, unless we're going to get the echo, but there's not a lot of chatter on the line now. All right. Item number 4. We're back to 4. 7 Relihan Road, request for waiver. We are getting the echo. Sorry, Susan. You got to go back on mute. Got to wear the earbuds. Or I just got to stop talking. So earbuds. 7 Relihan Road, request for waiver of interest or lowering of limit. So what's this all about? Got it. Let me read. Let me read. I'm all out of order now. Oh. 491. Sounds good.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, that's a motion by Mr. Hutchison. Do I have a second? To allow them to split the bill in half and pay it in 2 installments. Seconded by Mr. Van Winkle. All those in favor? That's passed unanimously. Item number 5, addition of sewer users to billing file and back charges. Okay, so this sounds like your story.
Last meeting.
Yeah.
He'll look over Penny's spreadsheet and said, wonders if any of these should be getting bills from Penny's spreadsheet. So we personally visited 2060 Wardens, empty lot, no foundation, no building there. 66 and 65 Pensive Lane are built next to the sewer. There's no CO yet. we traditionally do not bill, so there's no. And 30 Anthony Lane, we put an aerial view in there, it's a vacant lot.
Yeah.
And they haven't built much anything back there. So we're just reporting to you and
You're saying that these are accurately listed?
saying what?
They're accurately listed?
Yes, it's not being built. They're not being built. And if you think that 65 and 66 should be built, then that would be a diversion from past practice where we wait for the seal.
Okay.
What about parking? There's like an override. One Parkland Drive, Vitreous LCD. I just put a question. Plays through here. Why is Parkland's on override? Single meter. Three Parkland's account is captured in reading not by taking an override account. So I know there's three, the one in the back.
Three, there's one in the back. They probably have irrigation sub-meter.
Oh, okay. I don't know if they have much one.
I think it's plants. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I just saw that as one, and there was one other that was weird later on. By the way, I can only imagine. Oh, the Chase Bank. Benny's is still on the list. Benny's was there before they nuked the whole bank. And it looks like,
Still serving.
well, there's something, yeah. Probably. So it seems like there's a little bit going on with that property. That's sort of the out. I don't know what we can get rid of. Benny's 150 North Avenue and 167, and you also have 165 IRR North Avenue. They probably just changed the street number, and they still have other numbers, but they don't have.
Federal knocked down a couple to the north of
Oh,
Chase.
that's true. That other little pink building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were two structures on that property, I think.
Yeah, Hubble.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it. But it's not, shouldn't be listed as, I don't know what that number would be. Maybe probably higher than the, and then 88 Hanson Road. I remember, I think I was on Wetland when they put in the house there, in that 3-acre lot sideways, the house went sideways. Did they bring the sewer from the other way at great
I don't
expense?
remember. I wasn't on.
I think they did. So Hanson Road, is that serviced by a different, coming from a different way? That one
Hanson Road
property?
is served by low pressure sewer to Hollow Tree Ridge Road.
Okay. And they ran that
Property
line?
that is about 2 or 3 houses east of Hummingbird intersection.
Yeah, that one house, right? Didn't they put the line in
Yeah, but
themselves?
somebody else connected.
Oh, okay.
Somebody else connected. It's a developer sewer, but there's one other connection. The 2 houses on the corner were connected by their own private laterals running on Hanson Road, so they're not a part of.
That's what I remember. Okay, I got it. I remember something bumpy.
So are you making a request that we look into a handful of other properties just to confirm, or no? Are you happy?
No, it's just hits and that's really. And again,
Darren, you do have a comment?
We jumped from number 5. Where are we?
oh, I was on 12, 13.
Okay, so hold on to your hat, Mr. Hutchison. We're on number 5. Save your powder. So 5 is just reporting that you believe they're listed accurately.
I believe that Penny's spreadsheet is accurate and that they should not be, these people are not being charged, and they shouldn't be charged.
All right. So now we can move on to 7. 88 Nearwater Lane.
No action.
No action on number 7. We took care of 8. We're now on to number 9. Guidance brochure for property owners to provide to tenants. Oh, I'm sorry. You said no action. Oh, okay. So 7, 88 Nearwater Lane. I am recused from discussion on this item. So who would like the gavel?
I'll take it.
All right, Reese has the gavel.
It appears that they provided a legal opinion and a title search that shows that they have the right to all sewers. Is that here with your grades? Find that paper rapid like that. Is this something we want town council to just blessed because it's a little bit complicated, but it looks like they sorted it out. Me,
The commission will time last month, get their legal opinion and have our attorney review their legal opinion.
okay, so that's, I would make a motion, then I can't, because I'm tied the gavel, but Peter, perhaps a motion could be considered to send this to town council to verify that the title search and legal is correct for this property.
And second.
So you'd be making the motion.
Well, I'll make that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Great. All in favor? That's 3-0 with already refused.
We're done with 7. All set. All right. Number 9. Darien Sewer Commission is committed to proper functioning and maintenance of our sewer system. Proper use of sewer system depends upon you, the sewer user. Provide the following guidelines on use for your sewer connection. The home or apartment you have leased is connected to the Darien sewer system. Sewer department has a specific list of items that should never be flushed down the toilet or drain that enters our sewer system. These include all sorts of wonderful things. Well, you know, hey, if anyone's watching on Channel 79, this is a really bad show. But baby wipes and diapers, fats, oils, grease, paper towels, napkins, cleaning and personal wipes, household cleaners, feminine products, paints and stains, coffee grounds, motor oil or other auto fluids, meat or poultry bones, medicines or syringes, eggshells and fruit pits, lawn care products, and any items that contain cotton, even if labeled flushable. Your landlord may hold you accountable for fees associated with corrective action, fines, or cleanup should you, the tenant, be found to have disposed of these items and responsible for causing a clog in the sewer lateral. Please feel free to contact Darien Sewer Department if you would like further information. I think when I saw the draft last time, the only thing I didn't like is getting into the relationship between the landlord and the tenant for who's going to charge you for what happens.
You want to strike that?
Yeah, I'd get rid of that sentence and just
All right.
start with please.
Please feel free to contact.
Yep. And
Take away your landlord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. That's up to them.
Yep, exactly. And so, great guidance document. We can throw it up on the website. Then what?
I'll give it to the board of realtors. The board to look
Yeah.
at. They want to distribute it. They can.
Now, this precipitated a conversation last time about if we have good information about multifamily addresses in town. And Darren did a fair amount of research, or Penny did a fair amount of research, both did, to try to come up with the most accurate list they could. It's not, accurate. And it would take a lot of cleansing. There's stuff like, Clock Hill might be listed as multifamily, but it's all single, and then some done one way and some done the other way. And
You're into the weeds.
You're into the weeds quick. So on the one hand, and then you don't know who's renting a single family house either, right? That may or may not be aware of the story. The question is how best to distribute and try to get folks that are renting places to include this in their lease agreements. You get Board of Realtors, that's one.
Well, we've gotten our 4-page colored page thing down to 1 page.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's more concise.
Yeah.
So it's up to people to do that. No problem. I mean, someone's paying for a clog drain. Whether it's the tenant, landlord, they have to pay for it. So trying to stop it.
Next year we could, I'm sorry, Peter, go ahead.
You are being the realty. In the current leases, is there any provision for something like this?
No, the board leases The standard board lease is rather simple.
Yeah.
Everybody crafts their own and can get very complicated. I know David Genovese once joked to me that he has ceiling tiles. He remembers being on pencils up there. And so he's included that. And as a joke, he told me that. It made me laugh. So they can be very specific, or very general.
I could charge my kids for the ceiling tiles and paint.
I know. We all have. So he obviously is including that now.
Yeah, I've been
Traumatized.
I've written a few leases.
Did you ever include anything like this? Yeah, no, it's a little detailed, but I think it's great that we mail that out every year. People do take notice. It's more than, I think our reach is better than we think in some ways. So having it there and having it available, especially having the number that you call, is nice. Because they have questions. I think the worst thing that we've seen is the flushable wipes. And it's caused a lot of harm, a lot of extra work for you guys.
But we still have to figure out, here's a pile, what do we?
Right, no, exactly.
I mean, it's
just one more way to get a pamphlet. If people choose, if they want to put that in, it's up to them. It's their property. We can only go so far.
If we give some of the really board,
It helps, but realtors shouldn't draft leases as
no, but
they're not attorneys.
I mean, it's
as
just,
you know.
this is just a notification.
Right. And maybe some of the local attorneys would benefit from my draft lease.
Are there?
You know, it's interesting because so reading this letter now, there's really only one sentence left that makes the assumption that maybe you're renting, that the home or apartment you have leased is connected to the Darien sewer system. So what if this letter just simply said, the home or apartment you occupy, you own or lease. Maybe the home or apartment you own or lease is connected to the Darien sewer system. Now this applies to everybody. Maybe next year when we send out the bills, instead of sending out the flyer, we could send this out as a change up, and then everybody gets it.
Right. Then we can even put in a, please consider this for your next lease.
Yeah, if you're a landlord, please consider including this in your next lease. There you go, down at the bottom. So we'll say, please feel free to contact the Darien Sewer Department at blah, blah, blah. And the next sentence would be, if you are a landlord, please consider including this document in your next lease.
Or this concept, or this recommendation.
These recommendations in your next lease. Please, yeah. So Darren, you got that?
Well, wait. I mean, this is something that everybody who has a toilet in the town should be interested in.
Yes.
So, maybe it should go to every post office address in the town.
Well, I think so. We send bills out once a year. So next year, this could be included with the bill, and it'll go to all sewer users.
Well, except it won't. In certain cases, it will go.
Oh, so it won't get to the person renting.
Yeah, right.
So we could say, if you're a landlord, please pass this on to your tenant.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We couldn't put it to all the post office.
Okay, good. It's a separate mailing, and it'll cost $5,000 or whatever a separate mailing will cost.
Let's see if we get any calls. Try this next year. Just something simple like this.
Yeah.
And Greg, I like your back.
I hear you. And we can disseminate. Put it on the website. We can get it to the board of realtors. We can maybe send it to some land use attorneys that write leases. So Darren, the 1, 2, 4th sentence of the first paragraph will be adjusted to just say the home or apartment you occupy is connected to. You own or occupy. You own or occupy.
Yeah.
Is connected to. And then we're going to strike the first sentence of the last paragraph. we're going to add a sentence that says something like, I guess we'll just do it the soft way first, which is, if you are a landlord, please pass this information on to your tenants. It's that simple, right? Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it there? So I'll see a new one next month that I'll sign. Yes, Susan?
I'm just saying I'm good.
Okay, she's good. Darren, good?
Motion, Darren, to sign this letter after it's arrived.
Sure.
I like that.
Wait a second. All those in favor?
Peter's one.
All right. All right, we're good.
It does not have to be back next month.
All right, item 10, desegregate CT. This was passed to us by the first selectman, following a variety of bills being considered in Hartford that have to do with changes in land use policy and how the state might encourage or require municipalities to make those changes in land use policy. We don't know anything about the legislative process in terms of its potential for adoption or how many times it might change before it is adopted. But it was forwarded to us because one of the bullets in this particular summary says that to make it easier to build new housing, you should require sewer authorities to allocate capacity to multi-family affordable housing.
How do you figure that?
Darren, as an engineer, is it possible to pre-allocate sewer capacity to anything?
That, you know, for people that want to, for areas that want to encourage development, sometimes they start with infrastructure improvements. They'll go into an area and make the sewers bigger or replace the sewers, make the roads better in order to incentivize. So that's not.
But you have to know that.
Yes. So for cities that want to encourage development, this is not a unheard of practice. Obviously, for many of our single family suburbs, they would never, you know, it's like very rare to consider it, but that's the whole point. Anyway, it was brought to our attention by the first selectman. Do you have any thing you want to add to that, Mr. Gentile? When I was up, yeah, I had an interview with the Board of Selectmen. I am pleased to report they have approved my reappointment to the Sewer Commission for 3 years, whatever it is.
Was it a tight vote?
I got shaky there for a while. But this general concept came up, and the idea of what do we know about the capacity of our sewer system and how that would affect land use plans and zoning approvals and so forth. And I described what our protocol is in terms of doing no harm and providing upgrades if we need to. But this issue is probably not going away. It's kind of in local minds now, it's certainly in state minds. But I think the only action item for us is one that we are already engaged in, which is doing a very thorough analysis of our sewers to understand which portions of our sewers have excess capacity and which don't.
At what time?
And at what time of day, and that sort of thing. So, and it just so happens our efforts to reduce inflow and infiltration over time will build capacity in our system. Same time.
Well, so what would happen then? Now, if someone want to go forward with a very large project, I guess they'd start with planning and zoning, right?
Probably.
And then they'd come to us and say, well, you know, we're thinking about whatever project it is. How do you stand?
I think, you know, over time, as I see it, it's going to take us, you know, right now we're doing a portion of one watershed. It's going to take us several years to get to all of them and kind of have an understanding of a complete picture and whatever improvements we make But at some point, I could see having information that would be helpful planning and zoning if they are considering changes in land use policy to say, these sewer sheds are really tight. They're already 2/3 full or whatever it is. So if you're developing a land use plan, you should know that. Either maybe avoid these sewer sheds, or there's a lot of capacity in this one. That could be just information be used to inform our connection fees used for. But again, we're already taking steps to understand more about it. We'll have the information over time. All right, next. Number 11. I talked about this a little bit, right? No. Flat condominium or multiple unmatched user fees.
I can look at different billing categories that we use. So as we go through and look at all the different categories and give you reasons why they're there, why they're classified the way that they are. Pretty big document, and we started it last year and finished it this year. So the red marks are pennies. Ask her to look at it and give.
This is what I jumped to.
You seem to be very interested in it.
I broke them back in. Okay.
There it is. It seems like there are reasons for people being where they are most of the time. In some cases, it seems like you might be able to move them on.
So basically, when she says it's not in the consumption book, there's really little reason for why that's not the case.
Yeah, so maybe that's one that can come off of when you're looking at. To give you an example, there's one in Pleasant Street, in my mind, where part of the property I happen to see him at the dump. I asked him, why are you not doing anything with your household? We're going to get to it someday, but in the meantime, just connect to the water. Still connected to the sewer. We can plan a flat rate, but we get rid of that if we wanted to. We put him on the consumption side, and he's going to pay the minimum because that's what the flat rate is. So if you really wanted to eliminate the flat rate, you could just put him in the consumption minimum, at least in that case. But nevertheless, there's still some that should stay in the flat rate. There's one apartment building where
West Island.
yeah, and they're charged minimum for each unit.
Yeah.
And there's 1 meter going into the building. And Penny did the analysis and came up with, well,
pretty close.
If you took that meter reading and divided it by 10, we lose money.
I think on most of the multifamily, it came out, you looked at Allen O'Neill, the minimum versus pretty close.
I don't remember what we came up with.
This is a tremendous amount of work, and I really appreciate the thoroughness with which it has been done. My question is, I think it's food for curious commissioner minds to look through and ask questions about our protocols and processes. But does it really require commission action to clean up our billing system in accordance with our normal protocol? So if there's things that are obviously in the wrong place, just fix them.
The superintendent administers our billing. I think I can do it.
there are just some in here that anomalies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And you should be aware, because there are certain members who've been doing it for so long, and that can make a change. Something we can develop for the material. I think this is a great guy. We need time to get through it, not rush through and then obviously give us any comments you have on any particular one. I mean, that would be helpful.
Okay.
I know Susan's on the line. I know Bob Billy.
Yeah. Yes. So the information is here, which is great for the record going forward, even if we don't do anything with it. But what you're asking is that over the next month, the commissioners take a look through it, ask any questions they want to ask, make any comments they want to make, and you can receive that information to help continue informing the process. If there's any particular anomalies, handful, I don't want to go through this list at the meeting, I'm going to be on it. If there are any particular anomalies or protocols, that we should discuss, we can discuss. Otherwise, so we'll just talk about it again next time. Yeah, I think we're good.
No, and I think that was the point. Just keep your time to die.
All right.
But if we have in the past, and I will continue to move across to where they belong.
Justified.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
What, in 23 Baywater Drive, which is broken, calculates sewer user fees listed as override in quotes. What's override?
Override is an account that we need to override Aquarian's data. So if there was a sub-meter, for example, and we had to subtract the sub-meter, the washing boats, I don't know what that address is, but I know that we can't just take, in the case where you see override, we cannot just take Aquarian's data.
Right, I got it. Sure.
We have to override the Aquarian's data.
It's like
Most of the time, or some of the country clubs, pools, that washing.
Yeah, it's like
I think a Gardner Center had one for an indoor spigot.
it's like a sprinkler system.
Yeah, that was another
Thank
one.
you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on 11 before we move to 12? Continued discussion on establishing user fees. Yeah, 12. No. Okay. Whoops. I did jump over 12. 12 is building classifications. Let me go back.
Last meeting, Chairman made the comment that nice to know how many apartments there are. We were able to get our hands on spreadsheet, group planning and zoning, which originated in my assessor's office. We forwarded that spreadsheet to all of you. Hopefully all commissioners got it. And unfortunately, very complicated. We came up with 51 different classifications. We found some, even within a church, rectories or religious institutions.
There's nothing in the packet.
Subcategories. So we forwarded that to you because it was asked for. And we acknowledge that probably won't be much help in determining how many apartments there are downtown or anyplace else for that matter. And we also noticed that some of the apartments that we know are apartments listed as condominiums or building condominiums, or not even the way we staff would have classified it ourselves. So without going door to door and saying, are you renting here, it would be very difficult to arrive at a number that comes to. Nevertheless, we forwarded you a list of all of the properties.
a lot more than I expected. When you get the kind of single-family condos out of it, there's a little more kind of information to glean from it. But, you know, when you start adding them up, there's a lot of little complicated properties with apartments here and there. It's not.
Building, multi-use.
Yeah.
Yeah, single family condos is what I was trying to think of. I know there's an apartment in that category.
Nice to see this when down in Orchard. People would arm and defend themselves against the building. God, there are all kinds of strange apartments that have, you know, being created. No drawings, nothing. Really, I guess. But that's got to be going on here too.
So it wasn't an easy question to an easy answer to an easy question. I don't think I want you to go any further down that rabbit hole. Informative as it was going to be. Already, as always, you already did more than I expected. All right, ready to move on to 13? Sewer connection fees. So really the question on the table is, are we ready to hold a public hearing on sewer connection fees? And do we want to move forward and hold that public hearing so that these can be adopted? You know, when I look at, you know, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch.
Actually, tried looking up what will service.
Yeah.
We don't have anything.
Yeah.
What's the biggest?
A 4 or a 6.
A 4 or 6.
Probably, yeah. I mean, probably a 4.
What would that be, like federal?
Be the federal or the high school. Yeah.
Especially people.
But to your point, I think those numbers are just alarming and don't need to be in our reg. Perhaps once we get to 6 or 8, we could simply say connection fee, you know, to be determined by the sewer commission, you know, I don't know. So.
Given the town mostly developed.
Yeah.
Likelihood of a 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch.
Yeah. New service, you know.
I mean.
Well, I mean, look, you can have, I suppose you could have like a high school in 30 years, high school knockdown, high school rebuild, right? And if they went from a 4-inch service to a 6-inch service, what we're saying is they should get charged for that delta. Because they've made a bigger facility that could use more water.
And again, these connection fees aren't scaled to load or anything else, so
they could change over time. Yeah, that's true too. But I don't think we need the 8, 10, 12.
So you want to max out at the 6?
Max out at the 6 and just say
and
larger facilities to be determined in the commission or something. I don't know.
Or just 6 above. Does that get us there?
I'd leave the 6 in.
No, I know, but anything 6 or greater than 6.
Yeah, anything greater than 6. Yeah.
Just don't do the 8, 10, 12.
Yeah.
Just for clarification.
Yeah.
For clarification, if it goes from a 4 to a 6, you're looking for the delta.
Yes.
So we'll apply the 4, apply the 5, whatever the fee is between those two, subtract them.
Yes, that's what we want. That should be in here now, right, Darren?
One target service, one smart guy will say, put in 2 6s.
Yeah, split it 2 and 2. Actually, would it be the same volume? 4 is greater than 2 and 2, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like 4 times.
That's all right.
Lou, I can just run through with how this happened. This document was approved by town council. And then the
Yeah, there it is.
commission
Okay, yeah.
took it off, remember, and then the commission said, So, I'm gonna put that other stuff in there, and your point just now, I have an A in blue, that covers what you just said.
Yeah.
So, with the blue in here, this document has not been approved by town council. That was added, I think, I think it was after the last meeting. So. Put it out there in case you guys want this to be one final time by town council.
Well, if we're going to set it up for, I would say, so A looks great, it's perfect. B, again, to remind everybody, if you have a situation, mixed use, we have apartments upstairs, commercial uses downstairs, we've got this dwelling unit charge, then we've got the meter size charge. Basically, you do both calculations and you charge them the greater of the two, not the aggregate of both.
Yeah, that was what you
That's
said
B.
last time.
That's what B says. Is that what B says? That's what B should say. But on a plain reading, does everybody agree? Is that what B says? Do we want to hold a public hearing in the middle of a pandemic online? So I guess we're allowed to hold a public hearing virtually. So we could proceed business as normal, or we could wait 6 months until things are over.
Was my second question?
Yes, we talked about.
Good way to work that.
Yeah, we talked about pushing it out a little bit, only to be fair to, in particular, one big project that hasn't started yet, so they don't get tagged with a fee without pulling a sewer permit. So I would tend to go out at least 6 months.
We could just say, for any project not currently approved by planning, they can extend their permit. And this used to be would extend through the extension of the permit. PSE granted.
Okay.
Grandfather the conditions at approval.
For all new or inspection or modification, not with
significant modification.
It doesn't have a active
pre-existing active
planning and zoning resolution as of the date of the
or pending application.
I'm not the one that's right. You know what we're trying to say, though, right?
No ex post facto.
By the planning and zoning, you were up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no ex post facto.
So if July 1st, 2021, do not have approval from the PNC, project will be
subject to.
Yes.
Have it on June 30th.
That's right.
Even if it's extension.
Yeah. I'm kind of comfortable with that.
Well, I mean, actually,
I just got paid out. I don't want.
No, I said 6 months, and you added 6 months.
I mean, actually, you could.
Plus or minus.
I thought the end of the fiscal year was perfect.
Oh, there you go. That's another way to look at it.
I mean, actually, you could say that from the date that this is authorized, will become effective 30 days.
I like the fiscal year too, July 1st. That's,
No, whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. We can do whatever. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
So
once it exists,
I guess so. Let's answer. Are we ready to adopt this? We think, you know, or have the public hearing to consider whether or not we should adopt it. Is everybody comfortable at least moving to that next step?
Well,
Susan is nodding.
I might say that, you know, if you do it virtually, probably better be not very well
Holidays
attended.
coming up. You're not wasting them after.
Yeah, sure. We could do it in January or February.
I mean,
Whatever
right
is
now,
convenient
it
for
wouldn't
you.
be attended very well.
Yeah.
Right in
January and September.
Perfect. So let's get the last little adjustments. We can bounce those around, get it to town attorney, and then we'll discuss it in January, and that's when we'll vote to take it to public hearing in February.
Right.
Perfect.
Good.
Excellent. Board 14, Superintendents Report. Oh, what do you got for us?
We have Seagate Pump Station. Good stuff going on there. We started excavating in lines yesterday. We finished it up today. So we have time that's now running full length. Electricians on board. We're going to put the cabinet in place before I'm hoping within the next week we'll have everything set up. So that Eversource can also run their power flow. So kind of coordinate everything right now, but it looks good to be hopefully done before Thanksgiving.
That's been a long journey.
We also did some work over there on the valves, gate valves and backflow valves. We had them replaced a couple weeks ago. On one day, they actually got the old ones out, new ones in, everything. Well, we did find that one of the elbows pumps did have a crack in. When we turned that pump back on, we could see it spraying inside. We shut that one down. We're only using one of the pumps right now. We're going to bring the contactor back in and replace both of those. One's worn. Got to think the older one. We'll replace both of those. And we're going to replace the pumps. We're doing pretty good. I want to get it done before it gets too cold. We're lining up the Kovacs down to that in piece was. We already had the pump on order.
What are those made out of, cast iron?
Elbow, I'm sorry, elbows are made of steel. There are some cast iron. Okay, any question?
No.
I studied pump station inspections, full monitoring report. The report is up at the we've already gotten comments back on it.
Okay.
We're in the process of addressing those comments. Some of them were pretty new. Some of them were like, we want us to categorize our system about age, type of pipe, and so on and size. We're putting that information together. It's a lot of work to try to get that done. But we're working on that now. The reason for that information, they want to know why we selected a certain area. So to go along with that information they've asked for, we're also giving them the rationale that we fed Save and Sound folks. They asked the same question. Take a look at where our SSOs are. Take a look at where we've had problems. This is where we're going to focus. Objective. Take a look at our pump runs at Stony Brook on a normal day, and take a look at what happens when we get some rain. This is why we're going to focus. Kind of more of a clarification. And our case has it well in their hand. They're getting all that information. I'm trying to set yes now. So the guys can start working on it, putting some of the information in. So they used to, we'll need some training on that too. So, sewer bond resolution. By the RTM on October 19th. As you are aware, had a little issue with some of the RTM members. It's an issue as in they had some questions regarding our lawsuit, Save the Sound, and the bond resolution for the work. They had some questions on whether some of that work, some of the funding from the bond resolution was going to pay for some of the things. Explain to them quite directly that the work that we'll be doing with the bond funds will be capital work that we were going to do anyway. The study was going to be done anyway by Arcadis. We are about a year ahead of what the lawsuit had been directing us to do with the final consent decree time period, but we are ahead of that right now. So we want to make sure that they were aware of all that information. I think there, I think what maybe we weren't being upfront with them. They like to describe it, asking. There's this distinct line for me between lawyers' fees, legal costs, that is not coming out of the law. Not. That's coming out of the operating costs. So, and all the work that we do with that bond money is the study directly by that. I went fairly well.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about that, or if you want to add anything to that.
No, I think you've done a great job of describing it. We were under confidentiality agreement, and technically still are. So there was limited information that we could share. And so it's trying to keep two opposing thoughts in your mind, and that's what we were doing. A couple of folks thought that they deserved a full picture of what we're spending our money on, but as I described, although without our knowledge of the last 2 years, it might look like one had something to do with the other. They were really split in our mind in terms of doing work that we needed to get done anyway, but for a while. So that's the issue. A request, to say we didn't feel like all the information. This will never happen again, kind of thing.
Those are valid questions.
Sure.
They're the outreach, community, expanding one.
Not knowing what you know.
It looks
like on the outside.
One card.
Yeah.
I think we strategically pick someone in the RTM that we could, whether the committee member,
expand the confidentiality agreement to.
We need to know this.
An interesting concept.
Yeah, and it has been done selectively in the past, and certainly selectively.
There's nothing confidential about what we're running on.
But now, hopefully, in 45 days. All right, what else you got?
23 and 25 Grove Avenue, we found that these two buildings are located on one property with one list number, so they get one bill. And we have billed them $3,241.90 for the last 2 years. And we also found that 207.5 Boston Post Road had been paying the bill for them. They're all owned by the church.
Okay.
So,
it's the last page in your package.
yeah, there's actually an attachment there. We actually owe them $4.40 for the last 3 years. So we're gonna pay them. We're gonna pay off 2075, and we've already billed 23 and 25 for the 3,200.
Always striving for perfection. Thank you.
Never quit getting.
But there's still, that's still going to be paid by the church, right?
And moving forward, yeah.
23 and 25.
25 is going to what?
Yeah. Well, 25 and 23, but the bill goes to 25. You're right, it goes to 25.
A correction, we owe them 4. A correction, they owe us.
Oh, okay.
Driving always.
Speaking of balancing the books, you're going to tell me the Stanford WPCA invoice looks great. No issues.
I tell you, my letter back to them stated that I was very pleased.
Oh, okay.
Pleased that they had followed up. The only 2 questions I had was there's a payments to the insurance fund or something like that. It's kept all I asked always every year for clarification. Maybe it's over $500,000. I asked them that, and then there was one other projects. It was a major repair of about $270,000. It seems to be from the bills that I saw. Conveyor system, rollers, they were like, so, and they said in the letter they would pay in person. when we have our, the rate is our percentage this year is at 13.9, down from 15.7. Okay, now, we haven't done any work.
It just didn't rain this year.
Maybe, you know,
That shows on a relative basis, why it's leak a lot more than theirs.
Yes. When it rains, it's bad for us. When it's dry, it's good.
Crowds are good.
we had some rain. It was just spread over one
Yeah.
of the days. They weren't
Yeah.
down,
They weren't violent.
torrential downpours, 3.5,
Yeah.
4 inches of rain.
Yeah, no, we didn't get a big one.
So
Did we ever find that catch basin over on the Post Road? You said you were gonna go look for it on Corbin?
we had this, put that in here. Did have them isolate the two.
No, we found them.
The man, no, they isolated the two legs.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna rain today, guys. Go out there.
Figure out where it's coming from. Yeah.
Tell me which ones change. Measure them down during dry. When it's raining, you're here during the day. Go out there, measure them again. They didn't find a major increase. And where they come together. The water was pouring in from all the joints. So they seem to think maybe that is the key. Pass that information on to our case.
Okay.
That
Like an underground street underneath.
Poorly constructed manhole, a lot of water coming in.
you know, that's what they found. So I don't know if that was a.
Still can't wait to start the fixes. Since that's really where I'm at.
I think it's gotta be something more than that, because it's so instantaneous. It could be like loose joints in the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta be more.
There are pictures that we have.
There's a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like you turned your faucet. Not just like half-inch hose, the 2-inch hose. It's blowing through the pipe in the joint. It's just. Brooks, I had it, but this one here, I believe it was the same. They didn't notice it either, and I don't know. But it's something to, we definitely.
Okay.
So to answer your other, the invoice, Stanford, we're gonna meet with them virtually.
So it sounds like the invoice might be lower than projected. That's good.
My payments right now are 300,000 a month. Figures to be, I should be paying 25.
Wow.
Once I meet with them, we're still good.
No more user fee increases. I like the sound of it.
What's that?
No more user fee increases.
But it also.
We're cutting you off.
It also validates what we're doing with the study and possible repairs on pipes that are I study going to yield huge results.
Yeah, 75 a month.
The percentage in Stanford. I mean, that's real money.
Look, just to remind as Chairman as he goes forward that I am not for the increases, I'm for a balanced budget. Please do remember, I do have to add in camera and cleaning. It's gonna run around 125. So, and I still have pump chambers, so I'm gonna try to balance it.
I'm with you. Look.
I'm looking at this, but get my full report before every decision now.
I know.
That could be long-term smart, big. Starts to yield result.
I can't wait till we get to the fixes. I've said it before. So DOT connection? Yeah.
DOT connection to the garage. Darren, you want me to do this one? Please. Sure. Of course, you know, we found they had some issues over the DOT yard in its facility.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Behind McDonald's. Okay.
We're still trying to chase it. We did get some good information from the pictures they had done, the new oil water separators, the connections. What we've asked them to do now, and they can't do just yet, is we want to dye test the couple. Make sure that what's supposed to be connected is connected.
Good.
He's on top of that.
Good.
Pushing. I don't know if we'll get it done before winter time, but there's no chance that they get away from it.
Maybe I'll just talk about it here. Our next meeting, do we want to go back to virtual? You know, the case rates are going up in an unabated fashion. You know, they're 8-fold higher than they were in August. Certainly much higher than when we made the decision to meet in person. So the question is, do we want to go back to a virtual meeting for December, or are we comfortable with this format?
I think your question answers itself.
Yeah. Yes.
As chairman.
I guess we'll see you online.
We're gonna stay online?
We're gonna go online next,
I mean, I think appeals online went well.
they're fine. And honestly, it's easier just to have it in one place. You know, this is kind of hard for the stenographer to hear what's going on in the room. And I don't know, Susan, how you felt about paying attention to stuff that was going on in the room.
I didn't have any with this.
Okay, it worked for you.
I'm the only one who's remoted.
Yeah.
The rest of you are all there having discussions.
Yes. But you could hear clearly.
I could hear clearly, yes. Absolutely.
All right. I think so.
And I think you guys have done an amazing job. Putting together the
Yeah.
everyone had a sense of comfort, felt satisfied.
Yeah, Penny's, thank Penny for us. There's a lot of stuff in here that's really great. Not just the appeals, but the other stuff she put together. So please thank her for us.
You could see it in the people that came in tonight, how
they felt taken care of.
Very well taken care of.
Yep. All right, Peter, do you have a motion?
Was there new business?
Any new business, anyone?
Bob's not here.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay.
For a second on that?
Yes.